Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of DIVA TV with Carolyn Young. Here at DIVA TV, we strive to deliver information of value always. We hope that you get something positive, encouraging, uplifting, inspirational, or just informational from today's episode. And the topic for today is self-therapy. Self-therapy, is it good? A lack of therapy leads to self-therapy, and self-therapy is not good for everyone. It's not for everyone. Have you ever had therapy? Are you considering therapy? Are you currently in therapy? And what do you think about self-therapy? And when is professional therapy over self-therapy necessary? Well, you guys know that I like to tell you a story pertaining to me. So I want to tell you about a story that happened when I was a teenager. I say about 15, 16 years old, about ninth grade-ish, maybe 10th grade. I should have gotten therapy after this situation, but therapy wasn't happening in my community at that time. Okay, so there's an incident where not only me, but other people around me, my god sister, my brother, some of his friends, and just a few people in the community, we witnessed a drowning. We were at the park, me and my god sister, we used to love to go to the park. We would get real cute, dress up, go to the park, and be out there flirting with the boys our age. Some of the guys from across the canal, they would come over on their 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, whatever they had, and they would like ride us on them and everything. And, you know, it was a brand new park. They had a basketball court. People would be out there playing basketball. It's just like we were actually just straight chilling, just like you would see on TV, a community hanging out at the park. So we were at the park, and somebody, I can't remember if it was one person or a few people, but they came and they told me that my brother was swimming in a canal in Florida. This canal had warning signs. We used to have to cross the bridge going to school. There's warning signs that says no swimming, alligators. So they said he was swimming across the canal with some other people. So of course, I go, and my god sister, we go to the canal where we see about 10 people. And yes, my brother was swimming across the canal, and I immediately started fussing at him because I was so scared that he was going to drown or an alligator was going to get him. And I started fussing at him. I was like, Sam, what you doing? You better get out of that water. I'm going to tell mama on you. So he got out of that water because he know my mama did not play. But there was an older, and I don't even understand why he was even in the water. He was younger. So I'm not saying that the older gentleman encouraged them, the younger guys, but that could have been the case. But anyway, there was an older gentleman, and he was a twin. I'm not sure if it was, well, they didn't have like the same, you know, most twins have a name that might sound similar. Their names were Jesse and Hardy. And I am so sorry, I can't remember which one of them did drown. But I want to say it was Jesse. I want to say it was Jesse, but it could have been Hardy. But anyway, from what I understand is that he had been drinking and he was swimming in the canal. By the time I got there, I did see him swimming in the canal, but we wasn't sure. I think he was playing because he did it several times. He would like, you know how they say like when somebody drowning, you go under the water and then you come up, you hold up one hand, one finger, and you go back down and you come back again and you hold up two. Go down, come back again. You hold up 3. And when you hold that 3 up, you don't come back down. So he did that, guys. And when he did that third one and he didn't come back up, we was like, oh, wow, Jesse holding his breath for a long time. And it was like 10, 15 minutes passed and we still didn't see Jesse. And so we started like getting discouraged, but we didn't get too discouraged because we was like, well, maybe he swam down and unsnuck out of the canal and he'll be walking up on us anytime. 30 minutes, whatever passed by. No Jesse. So people started, I don't even know why, but people started coming. Like it's a canal and then there's a bank on the other side. You know, people can come, but of course they can't cross the canal. And then we was on the other side, but people started coming on that other side because I don't know if news was going about somebody may have drowned, but it was like an hour passed by. Somebody did call the police probably after about 30 minutes or so, guys, because we, you know, he was known for like joking and he was already playing, you know, doing the 1, 2, 3 and not coming back up. He did that several times, actually, but that last time he did it, he really didn't come back up. And they finally called the police. The police came about an hour, the search people and everything. I had never seen anything like this before in my life. I had been to, I'm not even sure if I had been to a funeral at this point. And if I did, I really don't remember. And it must have been only 1 or 2. And I wasn't like up close and personal with the body. But the divers came and we told them the spot where we last saw him, and it took them no time to find him. As soon as they went to that spot, they wasn't even searching for 5 minutes, and they brought him up, guys. And it was unbelievable. It was shocking. It was the first time I had ever seen somebody die, literally die right in front of me. Just sudden. Unexpectedly. We had no idea. We couldn't even fathom that was going to happen. But they pulled his body up and everybody was just silent. Everybody was just silent. We had no words. We really couldn't believe what we were seeing and experiencing. And when I think about it now as an adult, as an older adult in my early 50s, we never got any counseling. There was no counseling. There was no therapy. We didn't even get 1 day of counseling, not even 1 hour of counseling. It just happened. And I guess everybody dealt with it in their own way. And it was several teenagers there. But that was my first experience with like death up close and personal, and never got therapy for it. So I've experienced it after that, been to plenty of funerals. I remember my sister, her neighbor died next door, and we were the one that discovered the body. I can't remember how my sister got in that house, but we hadn't seen her for days and she wasn't answering the phone. I don't know, we looking through the window, she's sitting at the table. But anyway, when we got in the house, she had already been passed for days. And another time I got to experience it like up close and personal. One of my friends passed. Can't remember. This was it in high school or after? It could have been after high school. I think I had my kids. But anyway, one of my friends passed, Nichelle. And there was another one of my friends, Nita, that did her hair all the time when she was alive. And Nichelle's parents wanted Nita to do her hair for the funeral. But Nita was a little scared to go and do Nichelle's hair for the funeral. So she asked me to come with her, and I did. I came with her. I wasn't scared of anything. And I wanted to also tell you how I felt after witnessing Jesse drown, like literally right in front of my eyes unexpectedly. It was very shocking. But his death, it wasn't, even though it was tragic, I'm sure it was tragic for his family, but it wasn't like tragic. It was like a silent, sudden, quiet, calm death. I don't know if you can relate with that, if that resonate with you or not. But I've heard people witnessing like real traumatic deaths. I have a friend, and her husband and his best friend, they were on the water jet skiing, and there was an accident, and her husband friend actually died in her husband's arms on the water. And that was very, very traumatic for him. I have a neighbor that said that her brother and his friend were in a car, and I guess they had some beef with some guys, and some guys shot the car up and shot and killed the brother's friend. The brother didn't get shot or nothing, but the brain matter from his friend was all in his face and all over his body, all in his lap. And that was very traumatic for him. He didn't get no therapy for that. I don't know if my friend, that husband friend died in the jet ski accident, if he got therapy. But I know that a lack of therapy can lead to self-therapy. I didn't get therapy. There was an offer, it wasn't talked about during Jesse's death. But I remember when I was about 2021, I had was going through my first heartbreak, and I know it was my first heartbreak. It wasn't even with my daughter's daddy, because I had her like in high school, like around 17, almost 18, a few months from 18. So this was at age 21. I couldn't eat. It was my first time in my life. Couldn't eat, wanted to eat and couldn't eat. And I know exactly what it was. That was my first time experiencing a heartbreak. And I remember going to my mom at this time. We wasn't even living together, but we used to talk a lot and go to thrift stores a lot and, go out to eat and just hang out a lot. We were actually friends at that particular time. We were becoming friends. She had always been my mom as a child, but at this particular age, we were becoming friends because I was a mother too, and I was 21. And life, just growing up where and how I did, and then having a baby, like life will grow you up. So I was very mature at that time. But I went to my mom and I told her that I wanted to get some counseling, some therapy, that I wanted to talk to somebody, right? And instead of her asking me like, what's wrong, honey? Like, how you feeling? Why do you think you need to talk to somebody? Can you talk to me? She immediately, as soon as I said it, she was like, I'm not going to like fuss real loud, but I'm a mimic so that you will get the idea of just what she said and how she said it and the impact that it had on me. She said, no. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking at the faces that I'm making. But she said, no, they will label you. You will never get a good job. No. So, of course, that kind of like changed my whole perspective on therapy. I'm thinking that if I go and get therapy or a counselor, that they was going to label me as, I guess she was saying, crazy or something, and that every time I try to apply for a job, that they would look at those records and I would never get a job, all because I wanted therapy. And that's how she grew up thinking. That was her mindset. But in the Black community, a lot of people do not get therapy, and a lack of therapy leads to self-therapy. Thank God, by the grace of God, I have always been able to self-therapize or self-therapize. I know I'm making up a word, myself. And not only myself, but when I think about it, I've actually been a therapist for a long time. I just haven't been getting paid for it because I'm definitely an uplifter and an encourager. So everybody that's in my circle, or just not even in my circle, people that I come in contact with on a daily basis, that's just my personality. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to uplift you. I'm not going to tear you down. If you need to talk, I'm going to listen to you. If you need some information that you just need to vent and you don't want it to go nowhere, I'm the person for that. A lot of people love to just come to me and tell me their life stories. I can just be out and about in the mall or anywhere, and it's like everywhere I go, somebody is approaching me. I think I must be very approachable, even though I do have like a serious look. I don't always have that look. I'm very approachable because I have people just telling me their life stories. I can be in the mall, and I was in the mall one day, and it was a white couple, an older white couple, older than me. The lady was shopping and her husband was sitting down. I was with somebody. They was pretending like they was shopping in this expensive store. I didn't even look because I knew I wasn't buying nothing in there. So I let them pretend. So I sat down, and this man just started talking to me, and he told me his whole life story in less than 30 minutes. I'm talking about his whole life story in just in 30 minutes. So I think that I am very approachable. Self-therapy, is it a good thing? It can be. You really have to be made for self-therapy. Do I recommend self-therapy? No, I do not recommend self-therapy. Only you would know if you can do self-therapy. There is some type of self-therapy that you can do, but some people still need professional therapy along with the self-therapy. Like self-care, self-love. But if you experienced a tragic event, even if you didn't experience it personally happening to you, if you witnessed it happen to somebody else, and you didn't get therapy, if you witnessed something tragic like I did, I didn't get therapy. It wasn't that tragic, but it was tragic. If you witnessed something like real tragic, or if you've been through something real tragic, don't be afraid to seek help and counseling and therapy. And if you don't have the funds for it, you don't have the money for it, or you don't have the insurance, or you just do not have the resources, you don't know where to go, seek out some type of charity. I know that Catholic charities can always find the resources that you need. When I needed a doctor, when no doctor would see me, when I needed emergency high risk prenatal care, I had to seek out a charity, which was Catholic Charities, and they had resources to send me where I needed to be. But yes, do not go through your life for years and years and years of not getting therapy when you really need it. Some people think that they get a certain age and that it's too late for therapy. It's never too late for therapy. You can be 100 years old and you still can get therapy. It's not too late for you to get therapy. You need to talk to somebody. Some people go through a lot of things, not just experiencing death, but there's so many things that you can go through that leads you to needing therapy. And there is nothing wrong with talking to somebody, getting that stuff out. I was able to self-therapy, just having a really, really close relationship with God. I would pray, cry, talk to myself. There's times in my life when I needed to lift myself up, pick myself up, talk myself up, encourage myself. And there was also times when I had to talk myself down and say, hold on, wait a minute, who do you think you are? Slow your roll, fall back. And sometimes I had to be like, hold on, sister, now, that ain't right, or that was wrong. You can't be doing that, keep it classy, whatever you need to do. You can look in the mirror and you can talk to yourself. And I also tell myself I love myself. Some people cannot even look in the mirror and tell themselves that they love themselves. But yeah, so I self-therapy, but I do not recommend it because it hasn't been easy. I've been an emotional roller coaster pretty much all of my life. I've learned how to deal with my emotions more now, but they still come up. So let me just see if I missed anything. because like I said, I do always want to have some type of positive information, some type of invaluable information. So my valuable information to you today would be, if you've suffered traumatic experiences and you still suffering from it, it's not too late to get counseling. You can get some counseling even if you can't afford it and you can't find the resources. There are so many things that you can do. You can look online. There's a lot of counseling free sessions on YouTube. There's a lot of positive affirmations if you're doing self-therapy, whatever you choose to do. But get some type of help. Don't deal with a traumatic event without getting some type of help, because again, a lack of therapy can lead to self-therapy, and everyone is not built for self-therapy. So guys, I would like to thank you so much for watching today, and have a wonderful day. And don't forget, get therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.